Hello, I'm Connie Holland and I am from Denver, Colorado, and this is my nursing home evaluation for session 3 for systems in long-term care. The nursing home I evaluated was Garden Terrace Alzheimer's Center of Excellence at Aurora. This nursing home is approximately 7 miles from my home in Centennial, Colorado. Garden Terrace is part of the Life Care Centers of America. It is in Aurora, Colorado, and Aurora is approximately 6 miles from downtown Denver. It's one of the most highly populated suburbs of the Denver area. Garden Terrace is a 120-bed facility. It currently has 105 residents, so approximately 15 beds available for occupancy. It sits right across from the Aurora Medical Center. Also surrounding that medical center is many other medical buildings that provide specialty care to the patients there as well as other patients in the area. They also have many other assisted living facilities there in that same area as well. Provided care, they have a nursing staff that provides 24-hour care for residents, including physician and nurse coverage, as well as many other patient care and medical services. So they have rehabilitation there with occupational speech therapists. And then, like I said, the nursing staff there is there 24 hours. They have an RN on duty at all times, and a physician comes in between 2 to 3 times a week regularly, and then, of course, if needed. Specializations, they specialize in Alzheimer's and dementia care and individuals in need of short-term rehabilitation. All the patients there at that facility, after I talked to the administrator, have had a diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's. So they all have that in common, and they come there for their rehab or their post-operative care. For safety and care, I looked up the Medicare survey online, and Garden Terrace had an overall rating of 2 out of 5 stars. This was a survey that was conducted over 3 years. They took all 3 years worth of inspections, and their overall rating came out to 2 out of 5. Under their recent health inspection, they only received 1 out of 5 stars because they had 15 citations. This is well above the national average. The average for nationally is only 8 citations. Under complaint inspections, they received 8 complaints in the last 3 years that resulted in citations. And most of these incidences that I found in the health inspection and in the complaint inspections were provided or consist of minimal harm to the patient, with the exception of one who had consistently was having falls that ended up having that resident to have to go be treated extensively for medical care. Also, there was some issues with fire and safety and emergency preparedness. They received 15 citations in that area as well. They did well in staffing. They received 5 out of 5 stars rating for the staff to patient ratio, and 5 out of 5 stars for the RN to patient ratio. They are well staffed at this facility, and they are actually well above the national average for staffing. For appearance and living environment, this facility looks like your typical nursing home facility. They've tried to make a couple of revisions to make it look a little more homey. It is very clean though, and it doesn't have your usual nursing home smells, even though I didn't get deep into the actual rooms themselves. And the administrator and the admissions clerk sent me some pictures, which I'll show you here in just a couple of seconds. Some of the rooms and beds, they appear to be very old. If you can look at the pictures, it looks like they need to do some updates, maybe brighten up the rooms. They seem kind of drab, but you can't really tell sometimes from pictures. I think that would be beneficial. Some of the research that we've done basically on the Eden project that would tell you that those things are needed. Lively colors would be beneficial as well. Also, I noticed that the outdoor area seems to be very small. They could utilize more space. It would be difficult in this area because it is, like I said, a highly populated area. It's in with other medical center facilities, unless they required some more land, which there is really any land available in that area. The patio area is very small. I couldn't see very many wheelchairs being out there at any given time because it probably would be an issue with people running over each other. These next few slides are just some pictures from inside the rooms. The picture on the left you can see is the entrance way into one of the rooms. You can't really tell how wide the doors, but the hallways are pretty open. And then this is the area that I was talking about, how the room seems somewhat dated, and they seem very drab. I mean, you have a window, but there's some light. The next couple of pictures will show you a couple more areas in the in the actual room itself with the closet and so on. As you can see, as I was saying before, this appears to have the typical nursing home feel, brown doors. The closet space seems to be pretty much adequate. I guess it would just depend on how long you were there. And then wide door areas for easy access to the bathroom facilities. Here's the last couple of pictures I have. These are the hallways going into the areas where the rooms are in the administrative offices. Like I said, they're wide, spacious, easily accessible to wheelchairs. Quite a few residents could get through at one time. The picture on the other side, of course, is the patio area. Like I said, minimal space. I can't see how wheelchairs could move through this area very well, and I don't see where there would be a lot of places for people to move around there if, like I said, they were using some type of device to help them with their mobility. For staffing and training, the total number of licensed nurse staff hours per resident per day is 1 hour and 53 minutes. Nurse aides have 2 hours and 15 minutes per patient. Registered nurses have 1 hour and 5 minutes. This is well above the national average, which I stated back with the survey that was done by Medicare.com or .gov. Also, after I spoke with the administration, they told me that there was one caregiver to every 8 to 10 residents. She said most of the units have 20 to 23 residents, and there's one nurse, 1 to 2 CNAs, and an active staff assigned to each unit. So they have someone readily available most of the time. Their initial and ongoing training, the administrator there said that they are in compliance with all their training, such as infection control and abuse training, and they are in compliance with any other regulatory training that they have to do in regards to state or federal compliance. I asked about any additional training, maybe doing some quality improvement projects as far as looking into things that they see consistently that can be improved on, and he really didn't expand on that anything was done in that area. He basically just stated that they were in compliance with all regulatory state regulations and training that had to be done by their staff in regards to state and federal regulations. And then in regards to corrective training, after each one of the incidences that I saw stated in the inspections and in the complaints, there was corrective training given to the staff, depending upon the incidents, most especially with neglect or abuse. Most of the neglect and abuse, with the exception of one, which was, like I said, the falls. It was just them not observing the patient properly. The other incidences were between residents. So most of the hospital, or most of the incidences that we saw with the health inspection happened between the patients, and these were issues with making sure that the patients were being observed. So there's for corrective training, there's a lot of emphasis put on abuse training, which seems profound, not necessarily physical abuse, but there's lots of areas that can be covered in that category, whether it's just neglect or not observing, watching the patients appropriately, and not providing them the specific care, specifically because it is a dementia unit and they have to observe them and watch them a lot more closely than they would if in a regular unit, because all these patients in this unit have dementia or have been diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's. I was actually pleasantly surprised at the amount of activities they had planned for their residents. Needless to say, I didn't get to see any of these activities take place, so I don't know how they go down and how well they go about getting these implemented with the residents. But in regards to music, they have interactive concert. They said the residents seem to like this. They have senior karaoke. They may not be able to read the words off the screen, but they'll pick a song that they like, and a lot of the residents will vote on, a song that they can all sing together. They also bring in various instruments to give people, the residents, opportunity to be able to play instruments that they might have been able to play before, or just some that they had never really seen before. They have art classes. Some of the art classes consist of cooking, pottery, and painting. All these revolve around memory care, so it's a step-by-step process. So the residents will be doing things repetitively, so they might pick up where they left off or start over, maybe do the same class the next time, so they get that repetitiveness and works their mind and their cognitive thinking. They have fitness classes, exercise classes that are for all their levels of fitness, even those ones that are bedridden or not able to be mobile. They have things for them as well, and each patient is assessed when they arrive into the clinic for what their fitness ability is, and a fitness program is established for them. As I stated at the beginning of this presentation, this facility is an Alzheimer's and a dementia care facility. All the patients there have been diagnosed with some degree of dementia or Alzheimer's, so all the activities and everything is geared around memory care. They utilize the Clare Bridge Memory Care approach, and this is done in a secure, well-supervised environment. This is important because that's the biggest issue with dementia and Alzheimer patients, is they have a secure area because of their lack of ability to remember things, maybe where their room is or where other things, so they can be found, roaming through the halls, and they might have the potential to harm themselves. So you have to be very careful when you're any type of activities or anything that they plan for the patients. And this is all part of that Clare Bridge Memory Care approach. There's 2 levels to this approach, and there's one set up for early stage dementia and late stage, and each patient is assessed for these what level they're at when they arrive. There's 16 programs, and all 8 programs for each level, and like I said, when you go, they decide on which program is best and which is going to work best for each patient depending on the level of dementia that they have. The thing I like most about this facility is the adequate staffing. The ratio of residents to patient care providers is well above the national average. I'm really surprised about this because I know there's been a lot of difficulty in hiring providers for different types of facilities, and this is definitely a plus, given this is a dementia facility only, and these types of patients need more supervision, so it's definitely important for them to have adequate staffing. The facility is also very clean. Notice that it seems like the residents participate in the cleanliness as well. They like to maintain their areas, as well as the staff there. They make sure that they keep it tidy at all times. I also like the fact that the care there is focused on the dementia diagnosis specifically. Everyone there, like I said, has had that diagnosis. So everything they do surrounds around that, whether it's the daily functions of the patient or the resident, or also the activities everything focuses on that, helping the patient with their cognitive abilities. I like the location as well. It is right close to any type of medical care facility, any type of care that the resident needs. It's available there. Different types of clinics that surround the medical center. There's also assisted living facilities there. So once the patient is finished with their rehab there's a possibility that they can move on to a larger assisted living facility that has a nicer room or more of an apartment style room. Also, there's a lot of amenities that I didn't really talk about much, but they have lots of things like a barber shop and a beauty shop, and trips and things that a couple little trips that they can take patients or residents out on. And I think this is a plus for individuals to continue feeling like they're living a normal life. I was a bit surprised when I looked at the health inspection on Medicare.gov and saw that they had numerous citations, which made them well above the average for number of citations. Considering they did so well in the staffing area, I assumed that this would have been a lot less because there'd be more attention to detail. This could be because they're giving more attention to the patients. But most of the issues that they had with the health inspection, like I said, were altercations between one patient or another. There was only a couple of incidents, actually only one incident that I saw or read about that actually caused significant harm to the patient because the patient was consistently falling. So overall, most of the incidences were taking place were minimal harm to the patient. There was also many citations for safety as far as fire and emergency preparedness as well, which is a surprising, but there are things that sometimes get overlooked, I guess, whenever patient care is at the top priority. But that is part of patient care as well. Also, I didn't like the rooms. They lacked energy. They had a very drab decor. I think, as we talked about earlier, that when we going into the book Life Worth Living, it talks about having an environment where people seem to feel like they're leading their normal life, but these rooms do not make it feel like that. Like I said, it's just a typical normal nursing home feel when you go in there. There's also limited outdoor space. I think outdoor activities are crucial. Just personally speaking, I know when I tend to get more depressed when I stay inside, and there's nothing like going outside and getting some sunshine. There's limited space for those things to take place, or even if a patient wants to take or a resident wants to take a walk, there's not a lot of room to do so. So it would, it's great for it to be where it's at and close to the medical center, but it also that just limits the amount of outdoor space that the residents have to go into and enjoy. The recommendations I would have for this facility utilizing the Eden alternative would be, first of all, care, not just treatment. The book focuses on this concept from the very beginning, and that's what the whole Eden alternative surrounds around, is the concept of caring for the patient, not just treating it. And what is involved in this is first of all, is providing a natural environment for the residents. You want to bring things in from the outside that they normally have. What would they normally have at home? Things such as plants or animals. That talks a lot about in the book about bringing pets in. If you read, a lot of research tells you that a lot of people live longer or they do better when they have a pet. It is also established them an opportunity to care for something. And most patients or residents, when they get to this point, they sometimes may feel helpless. They may feel useless. They feel like they have nothing to care for. But when you provide things such as even just something as simple as a plant or a cat or a dog, then this is something that they can care for and they can take a personal interest in. Also, providing less group scheduling so everybody's not on the same timeline, giving the residents an opportunity to get up when they want to, take their showers when they want to, instead of having such a schedule. Because when you're at home, or a patient is at home, they take a shower most often whenever they want to, or they may go to bed when they want to, or they maybe want to do an activity when they want to. It's not scheduled, strategic. The book talks about being institutionalized. Most of the things that, like, if you're in a prison like atmosphere, everything is scheduled. You know when you're going to go to lunch, you know when you're going to go to activities or out time, and you do not want to give the residents a feeling that they're being institutionalized. They want to have some opportunity of freedom, some control over their lives. This, which relates to your capacity for growth. You have to assess each resident and realize where they can grow, because all of them, even no matter what level of dementia they're at, they still have capacity for growth. And each patient has to be analyzed for what they can do and where they can grow. Interaction with human habitat. They talk a lot about this, bringing even in providing a daycare center next to the facility. So bringing in kids into the facility to interact with the patients, which I have seen just from personal experience what it can do for older people to have youth around them. They feel too that like they can care for those individuals as well, and establish a rapport with them as well. This gives them interaction with the outside world instead of feeling like they're stuck in one place. Also, my big recommendation for me would be more outdoor activities if possible. Of course, I said the facility in the back has limited patio space, and I know they have to be very secure with these types of patients. But if there was some room for to add more space for outdoor activities, I think that it would greatly benefit the residents. In conclusion, overall, Garden Terrace is an adequate facility. I mean, it's not bad. I actually loved the interaction that I had with the patient care administrator and the admissions. They were very forthcoming, even after I told them what I was needing to speak with them about. At this point, it's a place I might send my loved one for a short term rehabilitation care, but the evaluations and information that was provided by the Medicare.gov gave me some second thoughts about is this a place where I really want to put my loved one or family member in long term. But given my location there's plenty of assisted living facilities to choose from, and as well as skilled nursing facilities where I'm at. So I'm very lucky, and not everyone would have that opportunity. The most important thing for me to do is do my research, read read the comments, read where people have had complaints, and because it's not something that you want to take lightly, and it's most especially if it's someone that you care about. It's important for you to do your research. In Genesis 12, the Bible talks about the creation of the Garden of Eden, and that's when you're thinking about the Eden alternative. That's pretty much the concept is what they're going for. God created the Garden of Eden for man, and He created it a place for Adam and Eve to. That's what He wanted him to do. Wanted them to do was to grow and to thrive in this garden that He provided for them. And we should want the same thing for our loved ones or anybody that we had in a nursing home. It's an important that they're in a place where they continue to grow, and they just don't just exist. They need to have that opportunity to grow. Thank you.